Hey, welcome everyone. I call the Commissioners meeting of December 2nd, 2020 to order. We are joined today by veteran Don Bradley, who is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Smith, who will lead us in the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, again, we gather here this afternoon, this morning, to render decisions which affect those that have elected us to office to serve as public servants. As always, Father, we continue to ask for your wisdom and guidance as we render these decisions. And Father, we ask that you protect our law enforcement, our fire personnel, our EMS, all first responders. But more importantly, Father, again, we ask that you protect our frontline healthcare workers as they continue to battle through this scourge and pandemic that we're in today. And Father, we ask that you protect and guide our service personnel as they continue to serve abroad. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We'll move on to item 4 on the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through F, as listed below.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5.
I make a motion to approve a purchase between the County of York on behalf of the York County Public Works Department and IB Able, Inc., York, Pennsylvania, for 2 backup emergency generators for use by the York County Emergency Center at the following locations: at West Manheim Township or West Manheim Tower Site and Dillsburg Tower Site, for total cost of $77,086 under a PA CoStarz contract.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6.
I make a motion to approve a purchase between the County of York on behalf of the York County Public Works Department and McClure, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, for 2 Bard HVAC units for use by the York County Emergency Center Lower Transferred Tower Site for a total cost of $15,498 under a PA CoStarz contract.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7.
I make a motion to approve a purchase between the County of York on behalf of Fleet Management and Hondrew Chevy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania, for 3 2020 Chevrolet Express 11 passenger vehicles for use by the Penn State Extension and York County Prison for a total cost of $80,995 under a PA CoStarz contract.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8.
I make a motion to approve a purchase between the County of York on behalf of the Information and Technology Services and Keystone Print and Stitch, New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, for 2021 county and municipal tax printing services for a total cost of $12,236.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9.
I make a motion to approve a purchase and services agreement between the County of York on behalf of the York County Information Technology Services Department and Sage Technology Solutions, Mount Joy, Pennsylvania, for replacement to the Administrative Center Commissioner's Meeting Room audiovisual equipment for a total cost of $63,506.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Adult Probation Department and County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to provide an enhancement to probation's case management system, which will allow for text and email appointment reminders for a total cost of $6,400.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement amendment between the County of York on behalf of the York County Prison and IGSA, Washington, D.C., for modification to the ICE Intergovernmental Service Agreement to provide COVID cleaning services at a fixed rate of $12,150.
Commissioner Hoke, I believe that's
$2,000. Sorry, my eyes aren't looking right. $2,150.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12.
Make a motion to approve a coterminous contract service order. All other conditions remain the same between the County of York on behalf of the York County Information Technology Services Department and Shenandoah Telecommunications Company, Edinburgh, Virginia, for telecommunications services, including fiber internet connectivity for the York County Broadband Project and maintenance at a one-time cost of $11,500 and a recurring monthly charge of $1,199.
I
Second.
have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13.
I make a motion to approve a sale and installation agreement between the County of York on behalf of the York County Prison and Yesco Security, Ephrata, Pennsylvania, for the purchase and installation and licenses for 6 additional cameras in the corner morgue area in the amount of $9,496.15.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I see John's here, and I know you've worked on this project, and I think there's 2 motions in the agenda. Maybe you could discuss both of them.
Sure. Good morning. Yeah, this motion and motion 19 are both related to the morgue project. And the situation is that since it's within the prison, we have to use the current contractors that control the security system. So in both these cases, and we had talked about this when we first did the project, the prison is providing the hardware and programming and everything to incorporate that area into the prison. And we can't put that out for bids. These are contractors within the security system. So that's what these 2 motions are about. This is just to do our work to complement that project.
Is it additional cost, or is that figured in the cost of the morgue renovation
It's figured in the cost of the overall budget. It's over and above the construction bids, but it's figured in the overall budget. And just the project, by the way, as of our job conference yesterday, continues to move along very well. If you want to stop out and take a look at it, it's a real construction project at this point. It's a mess, but things are starting to come together.
Do you have a tentative date of when it'll be in operation?
Mid-February.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any further questions for John? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14.
I'll make a motion to ratify a contract between the County of York on behalf of the Department of Emergency Services and Tyler Technologies of Troy, Michigan, to continue to provide maintenance and support to the computer-aided dispatch software used by the 911 Center at a cost of $447,478.72 for the 2021 calendar year.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 15.
I make a motion to approve the following contract agreement amendments between the County of York on behalf of the Area Agency on Aging and the below-listed service providers for center services for fiscal year 2019-2020, and they're as listed in the agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement amendment between the County of York on behalf of the Area Agency on Aging and Delta Area Senior Center, Inc., Pennsylvania, for meal delivery services, increasing the amount from $8,498 to $9,699 for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 17.
Make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Youth Development Center in Franklin County to house youth at the Youth Development Center at a daily rate of $375.60 for the period of July 1st, 2020 to June 30, 2021.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 18.
I make a motion to approve an agreement between the County of York on behalf of the York County Treasurer's Office and Southeastern School District to fulfill the duties of the tax collector for the collection of real estate taxes for Stewartstown Borough, effective January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I know we had several motions at our last meeting relative to this, and Barb, as county treasurer, spoke. So just taking over the responsibility for the collection of those taxes. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 19.
I make a motion to approve a proposal between the County of York on behalf of the York County Prison and Montgomery Technologies Systems, LLC, for the integration of 10 card readers, 3 duress buttons, 2 door locks, and 2 exit buttons, including termination bores, relays, cabling, programming, and control wiring in the corner morgue area into the existing prison control system.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 20.
I make a motion to approve a settlement agreement and mutual release between On Shift, Inc., the plaintiff, and the County of York defendant, finalizing all claims and terminating the pending litigation between those parties.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 21.
Motion to extend a grant application and administration agreement between the county on behalf of the York County Planning Commission and York Building Products Company, Inc., for 1 additional year to November 4th, 2021, in order to assist with the purchase of fuel trucks and design the rehabilitation of the hangar area apron.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 22.
Motion to approve a grant modification between the County of York on behalf of the District Attorney's Office and the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $66,869 for overtime hours needed over the project period to mitigate work hours lost from absences due to COVID-19, additional workstations and related hardware, and additional cleaning supplies for the period of January 1st, 2020, January 19th, 2022.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 23.
Motion to approve a grant agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Juvenile Probation Department, Juvenile Court Judges Commission, Harrisburg, PA, in the amount of $189,970.70 for an annual juvenile grant and aid application. The amount listed represents only a 5-month allotment based on the state budget. The remaining 7 months will be provided after the passing of the state budget.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 24.
Motion to approve a grant agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Center for Traffic Safety and the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Bureau of Maintenance and Operations, located in Harrisburg, to provide overtime enforcement funding through the Police Traffic Services Grant in 4 silos: impaired driving, aggressive driving, seatbelt child passenger safety, and pedestrian safety. This is a 2-year grant covering federal fiscal years 2021, the amount of $719,574.42, and 2022, $720,233.22, totaling $1,439,807.64. Center for Traffic Safety will seek monthly expense reimbursements from PennDOT on behalf of the County of York.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I know, Mark, this is something we get every year, right, as far as this grant? Right. Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 25.
Motion to approve a grant agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Center for Traffic Safety and the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Bureau of Maintenance and Operations in Harrisburg to provide community-based traffic safety program services through the Comprehensive Traffic Safety Program. This is a 2-year grant covering federal fiscal years 2021 and 2022, totaling $536,241.60. Center for Traffic Safety will seek monthly reimbursements from PennDOT on behalf of the County of York.
I'll second the motion.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 26.
Motion to approve the submission of grant application on behalf of the DA's office to the Pennsylvania Commission, Crime and Delinquency, Harrisburg, PA, in the amount of $300,000 for a continued collaborative partnership for violence reduction between York County District Attorney's Office, the York County Human Services Family Engagement Unit, and the York City Police Department for the period of February 1st, 2021 to January 31st, 2023.
I'll second the motion.
A motion and a second. I know Kyle's here. Did you want to speak at all? I know that the DA's office does a really good job of uncovering grants to help fund programs, and we certainly appreciate that.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
Just briefly, I think what's really cool about this grant opportunity, or the continuation of a grant that we already have, the first part of that is it will continue to fund our GVI and diversionary prosecutor for another year. And so obviously that's money that's not coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. But the second piece of that is that it's going to fund 3 mentorship programs. And that's kind of a neat piece that I think has been missing. And it will be both, some of these programs not only are non-academic in nature, but there's also an academic component that ties in all city-based organizations. So it's Stick and Move Boxing, Beast Initiative, which is a gaming group, and it not only is in the gaming itself, but all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So for people who are interested in the tech side of it, and then Pedal for Peace. And then, so those will be 3 that we're partnering with and funding, and then 2 that we are partnering with but not receiving funds will be the YWCA Temple Guard. I think everyone's well aware of the great work they do here in our community. And then Quantum, which Mike Smith, I believe, also runs. And again, that's an academic piece. They've done great work in partnering with York College before, and I'm told have 100% placement in either college or in military. And so, again, I think that's going to be a really neat piece that's been missing. You know, look, we're good at the other side of things when it comes to court or helping to divert from going to court, but it's giving those youth, I think, another path. So, but if there are any other questions.
Well, I just want to make a comment. I was on a phone call yesterday at Better York with a meeting, and the new police chief or commissioner from the city police chief was on the call and talked very, very highly and complimentary of the DA's office and your cooperative working relationship with them, so I appreciate what you've done.
Thank you. It's a group effort, so I appreciate that.
Any further questions for Kyle? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 27.
Motion to approve a grant agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Area Agency on Aging and the Commonwealth of PA, Department of Human Services and Aging, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, for a grant amount of $303,270 to provide medical assistance information referral services, Aging and Disability Resources Center, PA Link program services, and nursing home transition services to consumers and participants in need of long-term services and support for the period of July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2023.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 28.
Motion to approve the reappointments of the following candidates to the Housing and Community Development Loan Committee as they are listed below in the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 29.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Heidi Hormel Hanover to the Redevelopment Authority of the County of York for a 4-year term beginning January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Heidi, if you're watching. Item number 30.
Motion to approve the appointment of Jackie Kramer to the Conservation Board as a public director for a 4-year term starting January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and welcome to the Conservation Board, Jackie. Item number 31.
Motion to approve the reappointment of the following individuals to the Conservation Board as farm directors for a 4-year term starting January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2024, as listed below in the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
And it might be just for the public to remember that all these people that we appoint to these boards, new appointments or reappointments, are serving at the pleasure, and they're not paid positions, so we appreciate all of them taking on these responsibilities.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and we'll say welcome back to Jim and Mike. They have been on the board before and have been very active members of the Conservation Board. Item number 32.
Motion to approve a payment in lieu of taxes agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Assessment Department and the Public Housing Authority concerning a project for moderate-income residential public housing development known as Cadorus Homes located along West College Avenue in the city of York.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. I know we have some folks here today. We have Regina Mitchell. We also have David Shulman. So I think they have a few words they'd like to share.
Thank you for your time, Commissioner. I'm David Shulman. I'm Deputy Director of the York Housing Authority. I'm here with my Executive Director, Regina Mitchell. You are probably familiar with an award-winning 39-unit residential project on West College Avenue in the city of York. It's called Thaxton Homes. We are trying to complete that development by going across the street where there's an existing public housing. It's actually the oldest public housing in York County, and it's tired and it's obsolete. It's difficult to maintain. So our plan is to take care of those families, but demolish that project and build a 50-unit tax credit project. That's not public housing. There is no funds from the federal government to rebuild public housing. So what we're going to do is use a tax credit vehicle, which is actually an IRS program that gives tax credits to certain syndicates, usually banks, and they buy tax credits. They give the money to us. We build it, but then that's the end of it. There's no subsidy after that unless you have Section 8 vouchers within the program. So we have to stabilize the budget. Right now, this is a tax-exempt property. So it's the only money the county gets or any of the taxing authorities get is through a HUD pilot agreement, which is very small. Probably this property generates less than $500 for the county per year. What we want to do is do something we can afford, and which is a $30,000 budget. The county share of that would be about $3,000. It breaks down, per millage, and pay that every year as soon as the project is built and leased up during the process of the project. If millage rates go up, then that $3,000 goes out as a result in a prorata basis. So that's how the project works. It's going to look exactly like what we've built there. What we're doing is creating a neighborhood, 39 units on one side, 50 units on the other. Beautiful, lower income, moderate, low income housing, kind of a mixed income project. And we're asking for your agreement to this pilot agreement. We've already have signed pilot agreements from the school district and the city. So this is the kind of the third leg of that. The Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency, which administers this program, requires a flat budget over this year. And these properties are taxable, but there's restrictions, and the taxing has to involve the restrictions. You can't raise the rent without, you can't sell it without the low-income restrictions going for it. So they're kind of frozen in place. So the budget is very difficult to maintain over a 40-year period. So that's why we want to stabilize the taxes. Otherwise, we'd have to wait till there's some sort of tax assessment at the end of when the project is leased up. And I think the 30,000, what we're doing, is consistent with that. We just got a tax assessment on the other side of the street on Thaxton 1, which would be very similar to what we're agreeing to pay here. But it gives us a frozen thing, and we're going to build a beautiful project. By the way, it's nice to be here. We do operate in the county also. We have 400 units of public housing throughout the county, both family and senior, and we are looking at another senior project at Pleasant Acres in the annex building. We've just have an agreement to try to do that. We need a lot more senior housing. We realize that, particularly in the county. This would be great if we get the tax credits for that. So I won't take any more of your time if you have any questions.
Just one question. When you talk about the project, and there is a great need in the city and the community for housing, what's the timetable of this project for the 50 units?
Well, we have gotten the credits, which is the big deal. They only probably fund 30% of these statewide. A lot of people try over and over again to get them. But once we get that, we're supposed to close in the summer this year. And then demolition, move the families, give them vouchers, take care of them, and then about a 14-month construction period, so about 2 years out.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But we're moving it best we can. Thank you.
Oh,
Sure. Yeah, and if you're going to ask a question, I need you to go to the mic. I need you to identify your name and your municipality, please. Thanks.
Kim J. Ortland, North Cadorus Township. I was just going to ask this gentleman, how many units will be demolished? I hear that him saying that there are going to be 50 that will be created. So I'm wondering how many we're going to be losing and whether that will be a net gain or net loss.
Net gain, 31 will be demolished.
Okay.
And 50 will be built. Originally on this location, there were 60 units, but because there was sinking and the soils weren't proper, we lost them over the years. So it's one of those things that continues to become obsolete. But yes, there's going to be a net gain.
Okay, thank you, sir.
good.
Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 33.
Motion to approve a temporary easement agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Public Works Department, Douglas and Deborah Barry, at Bridge 258 located on Slate Hill Road in Fairview Township over the Yellow Breeches Creek to perform the necessary work.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 34.
Motion to approve Resolution 2020-33 on behalf of the Community Development Department of the York County Planning Commission to approve a resolution authorizing the President Commissioner to submit an application to the PA Department of Community and Economic Development for Emergency Solutions Grant Program coronavirus funds for temporary homeless shelters in the amount of $84,740 and designated the York County Planning Commission as the administrator of the grant.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. I know Felicia's here. Did you want to share any comments on this? You don't have to if you don't want to. I just know you're. Great.
Morning.
Morning.
This resolution is a little bit after the fact simply because The funding opportunity came to us early in November. The applications were due at the state the middle of November, and we received notification of award on Monday. So we will take this resolution and send it up with the rest of our paperwork. But the state's intent was to have these funds available for winter shelter, so they really moved very expeditiously. Are there any questions? No?
Nope.
Okay, thank
Sounds
you.
good.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 35.
Motion to approve the following applicants enter into a grant agreement and be awarded the York County Open Space and Land Preservation Grant Program funding amounts listed below. Lancaster Conservancy, 270 acres, $100,000. York County Rail Trail Authority, 8.5 miles, 48.4 acres for $55,380. Susquehanna National Heritage Area, 67 acres, $100,000. Spring Grove Borough, 6.87 acres, $42,428. Dover Township Borough, Dover Regional Comprehensive Parks Recreation Open Space Plan, $35,000. West Manheim Township, update of 2005 Comprehensive Plan with focus on open space rec plan, $14,544 for a total allocation of $347,352.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. I know Wade's with us today. If you wanted to share a few comments.
Thank you, Commissioners. The Open Space Grant Program is just a piece of the York County Open Space and Land Preservation Program that's funded through the dedicated millage that supports York County land preservation. This grant program is available for municipalities and nonprofits. It's for funding to purchase land to be used for recreation and also to purchase land to protect our natural resources. There's also a portion that's available, as you heard, to fund planning projects that support open space protection. This application period was open midsummer through the end of September. We received 7 applications overall, 5 for park and natural lands acquisition, and then 2 for planning projects. So there was definitely a request for more funds than we had available. But we think we had some good projects. It supports the York County Open Space and Greenway Plan. And it's on the east side of the county. It's in the southwest side of the county. So there's different, and in the northeast, there's different regions of the county represented. So thank you to all the applicants. Thank you to the commissioners for funding these applications. Any questions?
So I guess this in reality is the first time we're doing this. This tax, a tenth of a mil, was imposed for this year. And obviously we have the revenue coming in of about maybe $2.7 million. We're not sure what the tenth of a mil bring in this year. And this is the first grant application process we've done for the allocation of these funds.
Yep, this is the first part, and this is just a piece of the goal of protecting and preserving over 2,500 acres per year. There's a couple of pieces to the puzzle. We're pretty sure we'll reach that goal this year. I'll be back in February or March and give you an annual report to show how all of that funding was utilized. We're also looking at the next year's round starting in the spring, and we'll announce that. We'll work closely with DCNR. They have a grant program as well to make sure these funds can be leveraged with some of the state funds that are available.
Maybe if you could just share with the public, because I don't know if I have my numbers correct in my head, if you could just share with the public the percent of land that we're looking to preserve, which is total, is it 85,000 acres?
Currently, we've identified, according to the comp plan, the things that are important, the natural resources, good ag production soils, floodplain capacity, quality streams. We've identified over 85,000 acres that are still not protected or preserved that are out there. Currently, the county has a little over between 70 and 75,000 protected. That's about 12% of the county. The goal is to preserve and protect at least 20% of that, which is an additional 40-some thousand acres, and at that time reevaluate a long-term goal.
So 20% and another 85,000 acres. Okay, great.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions for Wade? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 36.
Motion to approve the allocation of Marcellus Shale funding for the following projects in the amounts and years as specified below. Steam into History, bridge repairs, 2021 through 2024, $25,000 each year. Dallastown Borough Park Improvement, $50,563. Red Line Borough Park Improvements, $25,600. Shrewsbury Township Pedestrian Sidewalk, $50,000 2021, $50,000 2022. Spring Grove Borough Park Improvements, $25,000 for 2021, $25,000 for 2022. West Manchester Township Park Improvements, $27,400. Windsor Township Park Improvements, $30,000. Wrightsville Borough Riverfront Connector, $32,500 for 2021, $32,500 for 2022. And then Yo Borough Park Improvements, $25,000.
I'll second the motion.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
I think, I know we've done this over prior years and being the old timer here, but back in 2012, I think it's important for the public to know that, the state actually passed an act and had impact fees coming out of the Marcellus Shale industry and using all counties in Pennsylvania getting a percentage of that fee to be spent, and it's restricted in how the funds are spent, right? So that goes to recreation, parks, water quality, things like that. So we've been doing this over the years, but I think this year we kind of accumulated them and had municipalities and nonprofits come in and ask for funding opportunities. And I think over the years it ranged from maybe $350,000 a year to up to $470,000 a year. We get a check one time each year, and then we use those funds to allocate projects like this. Right? Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. If I could, Commissioner Smith, indulge me. Silas has an 11 o'clock, and so I just
Sure.
would like, Silas, as most of you know watching and in the room, gives the Board of Commissioners an update on the pilot project for broadband. So we're going to have him come up and share his comments, so he won't be late for his next meeting.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Commissioners. And before I jump into that, I just want to say thank you for reappointing Heidi Hormel to the Redevelopment Authority. Just had a Redevelopment Authority meeting this morning, and it's a really active and devoted group, so we appreciate that. Lots of great things to report on the broadband project. The crews have been out in the field now for several weeks, working on the conduit underneath the rail trail. They began in the area farthest north on the trail and have been working their way down. Some stats to share. They've explored 23,000 feet of conduit, and this was the conduit that was buried 20 years ago underneath the trail. Have found it's in remarkably good shape and are going to be able to utilize that to pull fiber. They'll be exploring this week another 5,000 feet, which will bring them down to the Seven Valleys area of the county, and have no reason to expect that the conduit will be in poor condition in that area either. So along that path, they've added what are called handholds, which are new access points into the conduit, and that's where in the future private companies will be able to come in and lease the fiber from the county and then make connections along streets and poles to access homes and businesses and provide expanded service. They'll continue to add those handholds as they make their way down the trail and as they approach Glen Rock in the coming weeks. Obviously, we're getting towards the end of the year here, so the conversation has also shifted to bringing active service to the conduit itself and the fiber itself. The Chantel contract that you approved a little bit earlier in the meeting is for that service. We were happy to see that number of roughly $14,000 a year to provide service. I think when we had given an initial presentation a few weeks ago, we were estimating $16,000 for operating it. So right in that ballpark. And as we made those projections earlier in the year, we were saying that you could probably anticipate leasing those lines, which of course can't occur till it's actually built, for roughly twice that. So the county will not be out funds and will be able to operate it with Chantel, who already has an existing relationship with the county, which actually worked out quite well. Another focus right now is making that connection between the existing fiber in the area of Kings Mill Road, where Chantel currently has fiber operating, right across the street to the rail trail, where we'll be pulling our fiber. So fortunately, a very close connection there, and we've had great support from John Kleindienst and from Henkels and McCoy and county staff as well for the project. So still a lot of moving pieces, still a lot of work to do in the next couple of weeks, but a lot is clicking, and we're making our way down the trail and should be on track to turn it on in time to meet our goals.
We know it's in a very aggressive timeline, and a lot of folks are spending a lot of time, and we do appreciate that. But it sounds like you guys have made really good progress. It's great. I just want to pause and just see if there's any public comment for Silas or any further questions before I let Commissioner Smith go back to item number 37. Okay, all right.
thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you for-
hopefully you'll be on time for your meeting.
Thank you for indulging
right.
me.
Okay, 37.
Motion to approve a tax refund register 2020-19 authorizing payment of York County real estate tax refunds totaling $3,433.27.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 38.
Motion to approve the check register for the week of November 25th, 2020 totaling, wow, $15,460,052.63.
I'll second the motion.
A motion and a second.
And Mark, I think this is because of debt service payments?
This one is, the $15 million actually includes about $9 million worth of payments for the small businesses.
Oh, okay.
And nonprofits. The next check register includes the debt service payments.
I knew we always had them in the beginning of December, so, yeah, okay.
So for folks watching, just to clarify Mark's comments when he made about small businesses and nonprofits, that's money that we're using from CARES funding to allocate to the small business grant programs for small businesses and nonprofits. Any further discussion?
Kevin, we should have kept Silas here.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 39.
Motion to approve the check register for the week of December 2nd, 2020 totaling $9,502,107.83.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 40. Stephanie here.
Good morning.
Morning.
The following are the open positions as of December 2nd, 2020. Controller, Accountant 1, Internal Auditor. Payroll, Payroll Supervisor. Treasurer, Part-Time Clerk. Sheriff, Deputy Sheriffs. Clerk of Courts, Deputy Clerk Cashier, and Restitution and Collection Specialist. District Attorney, Trial Deputy Prosecutor. 911 dispatch trainees, prison facility manager, maintenance, facilities management department, custodians, and maintenance workers, conservation district engineer, information services, part-time administrative assistant 2, and senior enterprise technology administrator, assessment, tax claim manager, appraiser 1. Youth Development Center, youth counselors. Children, Youth, and Families, county caseworkers. Public defender, part-time assistant public defender. Voter registration elections, bilingual coordinator clerk. Court administration, deputy court administrator, family court services. Domestic relations, enforcement officer, enforcement worker, client service representative. District magistrate offices, district court clerks. For information or to apply for a position, please go to our employment link on the county's website at www.yorkcountypa.gov. For any questions, please contact the Human Resources Office at 717-771-9214. We also invite anyone to follow the Human Resources Office on Facebook, and you can find us at York County, PA Human Resources, and also on Twitter at YorkCOHR. Can I answer any questions for the commissioners, the board?
Thank
No?
you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 41, there were no executive sessions between our last meetings. On to other business. So Kevin Schreiber is here from the Economic Alliance to give us another update as it relates to CARES.
I'm just going to speak about Silas while he's not here.
Yeah.
So, no, thank you, commissioners. Thank you all for entertaining a couple brief comments. Just wanted to give a very quick update on the Restart program, as was alluded to in a couple motions ago about the transfer thus far. So if you'll recall, it was several months ago that we began this process with the CARES Act program. Commissioners, this board had allocated about $14 million to disperse to small businesses and nonprofits throughout your county through an application process. It was several weeks thereafter that we came back before you and had requested the authorization to begin the process for awards and disbursements, and we had made the recommendation at that point in time with the $14 million to award just over 800 applicants of a total pool of about 1,044 that we had received. The final breakdown was about $12 million and $2 million for small businesses and nonprofits, respectively. To date, through this process, it was actually conveniently 1 month ago today that disbursement process began on November 2nd. And to date, right now, where we currently sit, including this week's batch of recipients who will receive their funding, we have awarded $10.9 million to 669 recipients. And are still working through, on average, about 135 applications that we process on a weekly basis over the course of the last 4 weeks. And with the slight disruptions of the election, obviously, and then the holiday period. So our team is really working aggressively also to get through the race against the clock to get all of these funds exhausted and dispersed. And obviously, where the real impact lies is getting these dollars to those who most need it. So the stories that we are hearing back are incredibly positive. This is, make no mistake, a lifeline to many nonprofits and businesses, and no time like the present to get them this funding. So where we currently sit now, and I know this Board of Commissioners still has decisions to make on final allocations of CARES dollars, we would like to make the recommendation that an additional $2.5 million be applied to the Restart program, and that will get us effectively 100% funding of all eligible applicants. And we're making this request to you now, really, as time is of the essence, not limited to the schedule that the federal government has set to have all these funds dispersed before the end of this year. But again, really to get these dollars out to those who most need it, and recognizing that we still have more holidays to come. So if authorized today, we can begin that ball rolling and continue moving down the list to try to get the funding out as quickly as possible. And
Kevin, is that going to be the rest of the, is that for businesses?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
so that's specifically
yes.
then for the business,
Right,
small
so
business.
all said and done, it would be about $16.5 million dispersed, roughly breaking down to about $14.5 million for small businesses and $2 million for nonprofits.
Yeah, and just to confirm, I know we talked about this before, but for the public, again, all of the nonprofits that have applied were awarded.
That's correct, yes. So we had already awarded 100% of the nonprofits. This would get us to 100% of eligible small businesses.
Great.
And we did move an original $4 million for nonprofits, some of that wasn't spent over to this small business program.
Yes, yeah, it feels like forever ago, but yes, back at, I think it was late August, early September, this board had made direct allocations of about $4 million to some of our larger, more institutional nonprofits.
So I know Commissioner Wheeler has been keeping an account of the CARES funding allocations over the last several months. We started this process, I think, back in August or September. I'm not sure when exactly we started. We got the CARES funding money, $40.5 million to the County of York, and we've been keeping a record here. And we're at a point now where we're supposed to spend it by, I think it was first December 30th, and then it might be December 15th now. I'm not sure exactly when it is. So I know you've talked about small businesses not getting the awards. We have more eligible people that are
Correct.
waiting. So you're making a recommendation that we allocate $2.5 million more to that fund, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I will make a motion to allocate another $2.5 million of York County CARES funding to the Small Business Grant Restart Program to help more small businesses in our community.
I will happily second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a happily second. I would just add that, the Board of Commissioners was purposeful in leaving money aside in a reserve to help here at, the end of the time we have with the CARES funding. So we have the money to share. So any further discussion?
So you will now go back and start notifying people.
Our
that
team is on a
there's-
daily 11
Okay.
o'clock call, and I think I'll be texting them shortly to say, yes, begin the process, get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, so for those folks watching who weren't in round one, be patient. I'm sure that you'll be hearing from Kevin and his team in the upcoming days.
Yes, and I should at least note that I mentioned 1,044 applications in total. It doesn't necessarily mean all 1,044 will be awarded. It's all eligible. As I've shared in the past, we do determine ineligibilities through the underwriting process, but that's all set forth in the CARES Act legislation.
And just to remind the public, what is the amount of funding that's available?
Up to $35,000. And to this point, the average grant has been about $19,000.
Tom?
Any further discussion?
I think it's important to stress the fact that when York County Economic Alliance gets in touch with these folks regarding additional information that's needed, that they make every effort to get the information to them so that it keeps this process rolling, because the money has to be out the door by December 30th, and their delay in getting the information that's needed to YCEA just slows down the process and creates nightmares for everybody.
If anyone, thank you, Mark. If anyone has ever done a loan application, it's a daunting process. We've tried to make this as streamlined and as simplified as possible, and really on the front end was as easy as we could make it. But Mark is absolutely correct. I mean, every individual applicant requires some level of interaction, and we've hosted socially distanced office hours. Our team, even over the Thanksgiving holiday, we're still fielding calls and inquiries and helping individuals follow through all the paperwork process to get the funding to them.
But just to clarify, and I know you didn't misspeak, but you said the loan grant process. This is absolutely, it's not a loan, it's a grant.
This is a grant.
And it's money going out and not being repaid. So we would hope that people applying for a grant would get the information in so we can get the money out.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now go get to work. 11 o'clock meeting.
Kevin, before you take off, one question. Will there be a snapshot available for public to view all the awards that were given out, or so it's a breakdown of it?
Yep, yes, yeah, and actually, if, we go back, short answer is yes. Recall when we first presented the total application pool, we gave you sort of a breakdown, and yes, at the conclusion, when all contracts are executed, we had said that all that information would be
All right, so at the conclusion, then
Yep.
it'll be posted. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, next, under other business, we have a brief update from the York County Ag Conservation Easement Program.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Mark Durr, Michelle, Greg. Patty McCandless, I'm the Director for the York County's Ag Land Preservation Office. Today, I'd just like to give you a brief update on what we've been doing throughout 2020 with the funds you've devoted to us. January 2020 saw our move to the new facility there at 2401 Pleasant Valley Road. It was a smooth move. We had no issues. Scott Castle, I have to say thank you. He made it as seamless as possible, and that new location is ideal for us and our farmers and all of the we had over 200 boxes to move. Didn't lose one. Also during January 2020, Commissioners, you authorized the certification of our 2020 funds, which we certified to the state by January 31, the deadline. That was $1.388 million, which is a part of the York County Dedicated Millage Program that Wade spoke of earlier. This dedicated fund now allows us to operate with confidence and success that we will have for our mission to preserve farmland here in York County. To that county allocation, we got back from the Commonwealth a matching amount of just over $3 million. However, then COVID hit. And with that declaration of emergency, the state had to retract $5 million from the state's total, that aggregate easement allocation. To York County, we lost about $324,000 of our match. So we learned that in March. This put an additional urgency on our agency. We were advised to begin processing farms as rapidly as we could before the November 2020 legislative session, because they might be looking to extract additional funds throughout the Commonwealth budget. So we worked very fast. February the 15th was our deadline for easement applications this past year. We had 64 applications that actually hit the deadline. We had more that filtered in after, but we had to maintain our deadline. That was 5,749 acres that had applied for farmland preservation by the deadline. Of those 64, 50 of them were qualified. And we went on to rank those farms. And then the board began the appraisal process after the ranking was done. The board selected 16 farms of the 50, and that's about 1,507 acres, and that's estimated because that's pre-survey. To accomplish the preservation of these 16 farms, we immediately began the appraisal process. Agrarian, Brian Pedrick, the director, is our appraiser. And he appraised those 16 farms, the ones we were using the state funding for, $3,020,125.99, and that is estimated because we don't have all of our surveys in. For the county money, it would require $1,501,800, again unsurveyed acreage. So these are estimates. So we will be having to go into 2021 funds to wrap up the last state farm and the last county contract, okay? But what have we accomplished? We have 5 farms that we did work to get state board approval on. We have 3 farms that are scheduled for state review board approval on December the 10th. And then we have 5 more farms that we encumbered. We met the encumbrance checklist and uploaded all that data on 5 more farms to reserve all of the, slightly more than the state funding we were granted. Okay, so we saved our state money. We worked very hard on identifying the farms that could move fast. Then we have 3 more farms that, 2 are very large farms, that we are going to use the county's 2020 funds on, and you will see those contracts as soon as these surveys are done. It would probably be in 2021. All of these farms I anticipate will have their settlements in 2021. Okay, let's see, what else do I want to share? So some of our reminders right now for everyone. January 31 is our next big deadline, and that is where we will ask the county commissioners to certify our 2021 county allocation to get our state match. And I've already started talking to Mark. And Mark, I don't know if that was you're going to tell me what number we are to use. And then we will submit that to Doug Wolfgang by January 31, 2021. And that will begin our new funding allocation process. Our next deadline for application is going to be February the 15th, 2022. We are not having a 2021 winter application cycle. Everyone needs to know that. We now select farms every 24 months. This gets rid of a huge amount of workload off our plate, and it allows us to process farms with these funds. So we are working, recall I said we had 50 applications. We're going to keep working down that list. We picked 16 off of that list. We hope to pick another 16 or more off of that list.
So the people, the 50 that qualified will be on the list for 2 years
Yep.
to receive funding.
People were very upset about being bumped every year. And we thought, well, how can we fix this? We decided to get rid of a cycle. We wanted a 3-year cycle. The state said no. Patty, what about a 24-month cycle? So the board went with that. So we hope that the farmers will feel more satisfied with that type of workload and that schedule. Let's see, what else did I want to say? For folks that are following us closely, go to our website, yorkcountypa.gov. Go to the property and taxes banner, and under there you'll find Ag Land Preserve. Look there. Also, every Conservation District newsletter, we have the second to the last page. I always do an article, and it updates folks as where we are, what we're doing, and what they can expect. So we hope they'll look in those two places. They can always call us. Let's see here. Also, our annual report every year is published by the York County Conservation District. So if you have access to the York County Conservation District's annual report, one of the last few pages is our annual report. Thank you, Mark Kimmel. Let's see what else. Okay, so I told you we'll be looking to certify our 2021 funds. And then just as an update, we have at this point in time 295 preserve farms in our agency on just over 44,000 acres. Okay? If there's any other questions. Oh, and I do have to say thank you to my staff. We worked very, very hard. David Boos, qualifying, ranking, visiting the farms to confirm their conservation eligibility to our program. Claire O'Brien, who worked with us qualifying farms. And we've just hired Marty Druck, who will be our farmland preservation monitor. And so he's doing wonderful. So we look forward to working with him. I want to say thank you to CGA Law Firm and Stock and Leader. They were turning around our title searches requests within like 2 to 3 weeks. Our appraiser, Brian Pedrick, was turning appraisals around as we requested them within a month. We've never had a year like this ever before, where we had to process this many farms in such a short amount of time, and everybody really stepped up. So thank you. And York County Planning Commission, thank you so much for the use of your staff, Tanya Wall and Jacob Trimmer. They helped us to qualify and rank farms as well this year. That was a surprise that we lost Claire, but thank you so much. You helped us finalize our ranking list for the board. Thank you. Any questions?
Mark, I may want to direct one question to Mark and Patty, maybe you, but just because we're going through the budget process now, and over the years, as a commissioner for the time I've been in here, we've used different funding streams to fund farmland preservation, which I've always been very much in favor of. And we use sometimes general funds, sometimes Marcellus Shale funds, other things. But now this year, as Patty said, the county allocation for 2020 was $1.388 million, which came from the, I think, 10th of a mil allocation for open space and farmland and some clean and green funds. So we're not putting funding in from the general fund.
Correct. It's the dedicated millage that funds this on an annual basis now.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you all.
Yep.
And then up next, I know Wade shared briefly. Would you like to share any more comments about the open space program?
Well, you probably did a good job, Wade, unless you didn't.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. You'll come back in February? Okay. The only other thing I'd like to mention, especially since Felicia is here, earlier in the year, the county was supportive of 2 positions focused on diversity, equity, inclusion. One was the Chief Opportunity Officer for York County, Joe Morales, who started about a month ago. And I'm pleased to share that the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Community Planner position that will reside in the Planning Commission, which for folks watching is funded by our philanthropic community. No tax dollars were used to fund that position. So we're very grateful to those watching who helped fund that position. But that individual has started. Her name is Jada Richardson, and she started on Monday. So I'm really excited that the county followed through, and both of those positions are filled and on board. And I think that Jada and Joe will complement each other as they move forward. So, all right, I will open it up for any public comment. So if you could just come to the mic, state your name, your municipality, and if you would kindly leave your remarks to roughly 2 minutes, that would be great. I'll ask our solicitor to time you. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Lee Hoffhines. I'm the tax collector in Glen Rock, PA. I've been there for about 18 years now. Vicki Allison is also here. She's the tax collector in Springfield Township. I'm the president of the York County Tax Collectors Association, and I'm here to talk about the tax collector compensation. Just to give you a brief history, there are 72 municipalities in York County. The tax collectors, 55 tax collectors, collect taxes for approximately 63 of those municipalities. Of your 2021 budget of approximately $245 million, those 55 tax collectors will bring in about $148 million. We have, over the years, since 1998, we had a base compensation back then. From 1998 until today, 22 years, our compensation has gone up approximately 19%. The CPI during that same period has gone up about 61%. So we're down in the use of our dollars by 40%. Well, the process to get a change in compensation for tax collectors has to be done prior to the election, and it has to be done by February 15th of the year in which the election is. So by February 15th of 2021, we must have in place any change in compensation. And then that stays in place. That can't be changed for 4 years. The history of compensation change for tax collectors: in the last 25 years, the county has not given the tax collectors any increase at all. As a matter of fact, there's been 2 significant decreases in compensation. In 2002, there was a 35% decrease. In 2018, there was a 46% decrease. That resulted in 3 different lawsuits to regain the compensation for the tax collectors. I believe there's a better way, no offense to the legal community, but I believe there's a better way of coming up with a change in compensation than doing that. And we'd like to have a representative that the commissioners would appoint, or one of the commissioners, that we can sit down with and talk to and see if we can't come up with a change in compensation for 2021. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
I don't have any questions right now. Vicki, did you want to share any comments? Okay. All right. Thanks, Lee.
You're welcome.
Any further public comment?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, sir, if you again could, if it's possible, to come to the mic and state your name and municipality, that'd be great.
Kim J. Autland, North Cadorus Township. I was looking over to try to make a decision earlier, about last month, as to what position I might run for in our township. So I contacted the local Board of Elections downstairs to ask them what seats would be open in April. And I found that they will not actually have a list of any of the open seats anywhere in the county until the middle of January, which is the opening filing dates. That election will be in May, first week in May, I believe. So I was looking to see why it is that since elections are held on a regular schedule, these seats are filled on a regular schedule, we don't have more advance notice so that people like myself who maybe do not have all the means all the time might be able to plan ahead 6 months or a year to try and decide what position we might want to run for. You know, if we're on a school board, we may have to make arrangements for childcare in an evening, or if we're running for a township supervisor, maybe we need to make arrangements for a job, have one day off a month. Being able to do that slightly ahead rather than have to wait till the last minute because we know what positions are open would be a big boost to help get new people into these positions and not just hold these positions to people who have the money and the resources and the ability to just change on a dime like that. Thank you.
Certainly, we'll follow up. I would say my speculation is they've just been really swamped with the unprecedented election we just had, but we'll certainly follow up for you.
Thank you.
Yep, if you want to leave your information with Lisa here, we can see that someone gets back in touch with you. Okay. Any further public comment? Okay, if I could ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned, and we will move right on to Salary Board.
I make a motion to approve the positions, salaries, hours of work, and fringe benefits as provided by existing collective bargaining agreements or as set forth in the York County Employee Handbook or York County Policy Manual for the following departments with no additional benefits or concessions unless otherwise noted as stated in the internal salary board detail. Department 17, Information Services, Department 23, Conservation District, Department 31, Juvenile Probation, Department 66, DJ Office Staff, and Department 70, Emergency 911.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and have a great day. And stay warm.